morning. So I'm just starting out the beginning of our hike today. We're heading up towards, you can just see the one of the summit points of Ben Lui ahead, the little snow-capped summit ridge up there. So that's where we're heading today, and one of the neighbouring summits. We're taking a slightly non-traditional route today. We looked it up and the alternative route is pretty much a straight up, but we figure it'll probably be a bit busier, so we decided to take this route, more aesthetically pleasing. Takes us up through the glen and gives us a bit of a longer walk. So instead of being around sort of 7-8 miles, it'll be more like 13, which will be a nice out and back today. 2 Munros. So we'll be taking Wolf up to 80 and myself up to 27. And it's a lovely day today, as you can see, nice and clear, no cloud ahead. The sunshine's quite warm, but it is a bit of a cold air down here in the glen at the moment, but we're hoping that'll change as we go through the day. But yes, looking forward to numbers 26 and 27.
So one of the advantages of doing this route versus the standard ascent route from the north is to get to see the beautiful east face of Ben Lui, as you can see here. Something which you can't fully appreciate when coming from the northern direction. So this route is a lot longer, but to be honest, the walking up the glen here is fairly easy. When you're greeted with a view like this, then it's just stunning, and any mountain always looks better when you've got a nice coating of snow on top, as we have here. So very enjoyable walk in, I'd say, and making progress towards the mountains, looking more and more impressive. Briefly hid away behind this hill in the foreground for a while, but now we're seeing it emerge again in its fantastic glory, and high on our list for some time. And now today is the day, perfect weather conditions to attack it. And yeah, beautiful mountain deserves beautiful weather, so let's go and do this.
Beat Highland water fresh from the spring. So good.
How would you rate the climb so far then?
It's definitely up there, one of my favourites. I think having this water rushing down the side of the mountain, just walking alongside that mean, the track out was a bit sort of samey, but the glen's very nice. And then there's pretty much no messing around. You get to the bottom of the mountain and straight up. But following alongside this water has just been, yeah, made for some pretty stunning scenery. But it certainly is no messing around. It's a tough ascent from the get-go the minute you reach the bottom of the Munro. So you've still got some beautiful steep bits up ahead, and it's quite warm. So luckily we topped up our water down at the bottom, and we've got plenty of water to keep ourselves topped up. So yeah, nice to have a bit of a rest before we head on up.
Getting some super beautiful wild terrain here below the massive cliffs and snow slopes marking the summit of Beinn Laoigh.
Beautiful and rugged.
And very warm. This is a fantastic way up, I have to say. Right up there, one of my favourite hikes ever in the country, I think. Got everything. It's got a view of the best, or should I say the best view of the mountain on the way in. Then you've got some proper wild topography. You've got waterfalls, got fantastic views and cliffs, even a little bit of rough rocky terrain, one or two little scrambly bits if you like. Got everything this mountain, and it's pretty high as well, so it really does have pretty much everything going for it. I'm excited to get up and see where we go next as we approach these cliffs.
Some pretty good height now, and we're just looking up at the last sort of final steep bit before we make our way up to the summit. Looks like we're going to have a little bit of scrambling, a snow slope. Could be quite interesting getting through the gully, and looks like there might be a bit of overhanging snow at the top, so just have to be a bit cautious how we go through that, but it's only a short spell, so it should be pretty good. But glad we brought our crampons with us. I mean, there's ways we could avoid it, but that's not so much fun. So yeah, let's give it a shot, see how it goes.
Well, that was one very steep snow slope. Thankfully we brought the crampons and the ice axe.
Wouldn't have made it up there without them, that's for sure.
We navigated it. Crampons and shorts are an unusual combination.
Yes, with the winter gloves just to add in an extra bit.
Certainly steepened up towards the top there, but we've now made this ridge and it looks like we've got some scrambling ahead of us to get up to the summit of Beinn Laoigh. Certainly this route gets top marks for technicality now after a very easy start.
It's yeah, it's an interesting one. It's got all elements really. It's got a nice, yeah, you walk through the glen and then you start sort of going off track, a bit of a steep ascent on some fairly wild mountain tracks. And you start working your way up and you get to the base of the snow slope, which was, yeah, steeper than what I've done before, but made it up, and then finish it off with some scrambling. So it's, yeah, it ticks all the boxes really. It's just a beautifully wild mountain that's got a challenge for everyone, I suppose. I'm quite glad we didn't take the other route now. Ben Lui done. So that was some seriously challenging scrambling coming up. It was quite steep and a bit relentless, but really quite, yeah, fun. It's definitely now rising high in my scale of favourite peaks, reaching number 2 just after Carmel Jeg. But yeah, it was just, this mountain seems to have everything. It's got beautiful walk through the glen, got a bit of a steep ascent at the beginning on quite a more well-made path, then it gets quite wild. Got some river crossings, and then yeah, the final bit, well, I mean, snow slopes obviously seasonal, but cracking snow slopes, and there's some great cornices here, as you can see just behind me. And yeah, just finishing off with a fairly long section of quite technical scrambling, which you can see the sort of edges of the rock there over on the main summit. But the main summit's quite busy at the moment, there's a few people over there, so we're just coming over to its second summit just for, yeah, a little bit of peace and quiet. And it's beautifully calm up here today. Some haze and mist out towards the island and towards the west, but you can see some of the tips just peeking out there in the distance. And yeah, a little bit hazy on the view today, but as you can see, barely a cloud in the sky, so just stunning, really.
Meanwhile, our second Munro of the day looks rather uninteresting in comparison, but now we're here, it would be rude not to tag it on as well. This view out west is just incredible. Peaks on the island ranges rising up above some low cloud that's clearly coming in, drifting in off the sea at low levels, poking nicely up into the clear blue sky. Really is quite a stunning mountain. Highly recommended. Very interesting route up as well. Plenty of interest wherever you look on this mountain. second Munro of the day, a name that I can't pronounce, I'm not going to try. But yeah, the beautiful sunshine has continued. Definitely can't match Ben Lui in terms of interest and intrigue, but it's always nice to try and tag on the second Munro when you're in the area climbing a more interesting one. But you can see you've got still beautiful views out to the west here to Ben Cruachan and around towards the Glen Cononish mountains. I think we see Beinn sticking up there, and then across to the Nevis range. We see Ben Nevis and Canmore Jerg sticking out there. And yeah, it's just such calm conditions up here. It's beautifully warm. I always think April and May are the best months in Scotland because of when you get days like this, still some snow around on the peaks. But at the same time, the sun's getting stronger, so you can get some really warm days, and it's just a beautiful place to be out. But as you can see, you've got quite an ascent to do back up to Ben Lui now. Unfortunately for us, there's no getting around this. We have to go back over it to get down the other side to the east. But we're going to try and go down a different ridge on the way down to the one we came up. That one involved quite a bit of scrambling, and this one I think is a bit easier for the descent. So looking forward to that. The day is still young, as they say, still some more to go. But yeah, great day out so far. Highly recommend Ben Lui. Definitely one of my favourite mountains after today. I think it's got everything going for it. Beautiful ridges, nice wild terrain, lovely narrow ridge at the summit, and yeah, it just looks fantastic from distance. So yeah, let's go and do it again.
Ascended for a second time. Felt pretty brutal coming up the second time, obviously not quite so technical, just a lot of steep scree, and yeah, just felt tough just because of, we could tell the previous ascent on our legs, and obviously we've been walking for nearly 10 miles now, so just takes its toll eventually. But as you can see, we've now got the summit to ourselves, which is one of the benefits of coming back up and over. And you can just see some beautiful cornices hanging over the edge there, just looking like, well, they're ready to go really. It's just a pretty stunning mountain. I'd like to come back in the summertime just to see what the mountain actually looks like on this face without all the snow as well. It's just pretty epic. But yeah, it's been a great day. This route has offered us pretty much everything. It's just been thoroughly enjoyable.
So that's the descent off the ridge done. Came down this one here on the right hand side of the mountain. Apart from a rather technical snow slope, it was very steep, we had the crampons. Other than that, it was quite enjoyable. And we came off piste at the end, back down here to join the outbound path. will take us back to the car.
Yep. Last little bits of daylight as we head down. It's starting to obviously, yeah, sun's starting to come down now, but yeah, that was a bit of a brutal descent and nice and technical, but yeah, one of the more enjoyable ridge descents I've done off Munro's. And yeah, we can say, Ben Lui, you are my second favourite.